Shaw Christmas parade attack last year was a glaring example of how the justice system failed when it came to repeat offender, most notably there Darrell Brooks in that one, who mowed down 6 people in an SUV.
Unfortunately, sometimes it's going to be set low and an offender is going to go off. And same thing as putting someone on probation. They may go off and commit a crime, and we can't prevent all that. But this one seems substantially lower than it should have been.
Again, that was Darrell Brooks there. One Wisconsin lawmaker now has introduced the Keeping Violent Offenders Off Our Streets Act. Joining us now is Wisconsin Republican Congressman Scott Fitzgerald. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate that, joining us here from the Capitol. Difficult to think back to that Waukesha Christmas parade. You're thinking about children and the elderly and the dancing grannies and those who lost their lives. I mean, just watching this video again for a reminder, and it's just shocking. This tiny town, Waukesha, looking forward to this event, only to be struck by a tragedy they will never forget. Talk to me about this and what can be done or implemented that can perhaps stop something like this from happening.
Yeah, Sean, I think first of all, the city of Waukesha and the surrounding area is still very much healing from what happened as we come upon that 1-year anniversary. It's not something that many people are going to get over soon. They're working on a permanent memorial that's going to be built in the city as well. So it's still very much on people's minds in my district. I would say that one of the things when I'm in the district, a lot of constituents would approach us and say, what can be done? And the first thing I tell them is, listen, what did happen in Waukesha could have been prevented if there would have been some simple measures taken. And what we've done is we've worked with other members of our conference to try and develop a strategy and a piece of legislation that we think would help to end what are serious issues related to some of the district attorney's offices and, quite honestly, some of the judges who just don't have enough information in front of them when they're setting bail for these individuals.
Yeah, and handling this from, thank you, by the way, for updating us on the residents of Waukesha there. We continue to think about that. But thinking about handling this from a congressional level, when many would point to, as you alluded to, the DAs in the district attorneys in these areas implementing laws, perhaps pulling back some. I wanted to play this for you. This is Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers and what he said about Milwaukee County DA John Chisholm, who set that low $1,000 cash bail for the man who mowed down those victims in Waukesha, Darrell Brooks. Watch.
In the case of Chisholm, it was not necessarily him per se. The system kind of broke down. They didn't have the appropriate risk assessment that hadn't been done, and so there's lots of things that should be done differently. And that's why I'm really glad that we're talking about this as a state and as a nation, and hopefully we can find a better way to do that.
Your response to the governor, and do you have something to add to that?
Well, first and foremost, Governor Evers could and does have the ability to simply fire the DA. DA Chisholm, this is not his first misstep when it comes to bail. So let me put that out there, first of all. And I wish the governor would have done that, and I think many residents of the state of Wisconsin feel the same way. The second piece is there are dollars, there are revenues that make their way to municipalities and to the counties and to the states that is specifically there to monitor what otherwise would be an incomplete system. And I think that's what we're still looking at. One of the things that we try and achieve with this piece of legislation is to break down the barrier state to state. So if somebody does commit a number of crimes in the South or in the Western states, that if they commit a crime in the Midwest, that the judge, the DA, and everybody involved in prosecuting that crime has all the information that should be available to them. And then if they make an unfortunate decision, like Chisholm did in this instance, then it's on them. So the burn grants is the stream of money that makes its way to these many levels of government. And what we're proposing is that, listen, if you don't comply, if you don't make this information available, then there's going to be a reduction in that. And again, the interstate concept of all of this information should be available to everyone so they know just what the background is on these individuals before they actually set bail.
Sure. And a lot of folks are campaigning on getting rid of their district attorneys. There was a district attorney recall effort there in California. New York's running on a campaigning, governor's campaigning on removing DAs. It'll be an interesting time to watch for that. Again, all effort to make sure something like Waukesha does not happen again on the topic of this segment. Congressman Scott Fitzgerald joining us live from the Capitol. We'll let you get back to work. Congressman, thank you for that.